You want that cake, 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 cake. Ooh, baby, I like it. You're so excited.
You gotta inspect things before you
But here's my thing, there's more. I mean, but actually, there's the flip side to that. I mean, there's also the flip side to that. I mean,
What's the flip side?
well, some men will wait and say something after they pass me.
Yeah.
That's the only time they speak. Like there have been times when guys have seen me from behind, and then when they come in front, oh, okay, you're not that pretty, and they keep going. They do that a lot. If I have my, like, for instance, if I have my hat on.
Dudes have done that?
Daily.
That's crazy.
Or, I mean, but I guess what I'm saying is we're more than just our body parts. So like what you just did is like, yes, I get men who do that. In other words, if you say I look nice, it depends on, I guess, the tone. It's the way I'm talking to you. If you're
the body
admiring,
language that you get.
it's the body language. And yes, if you jokingly do that, but some guys actually do it as if you are just a piece of meat, lift your dressed up right now. I mean, and they're serious. And they do it in the guise of what you're saying, that they're saying, like one guy said, of course I'm looking at your butt. You should be happy. I'm like, why? You didn't say I was beautiful. You didn't say anything about my face. You don't have to talk to me, but am I even a lady to you or anything like that? That's totally different than.
So you wouldn't like Africa because you'd be walking around naked and
No,
you couldn't cover up,
Yes,
right?
I could. It depends on what city you go to.
And the truth is, a lot of the African brothers are, if not a lot more aggressive than your average
but they
African American cat.
That-
Yes, and then they try to bring that shit over here. I'm like, dude, you in America. You can't be.
I mean,
African women
it's just
take
less covering up back in the days.
Let's cover up.
You know,
Like
so
what?
imagine what they experience.
But the truth is, you
know?
can cover up all you want, and men are still gonna ogle the way they do.
Yeah, real man.
Well,
Well,
But,
even
you know,
what I came in with tonight, they, men will still ogle even just. I get it. I have these hips. I have that. But in a lot of times, I'm like, no, it's just a part of being a woman. It's a part of being African. I'm not ashamed of it. But it's so much the feedback that you get that doesn't make you feel like a lady.
Okay.
Well, I want to address this Africa thing.
Go for it.
Because I've
been
spent some
there.
time there, yeah. And this conversation came up. First of all, Africans wear clothes. They wear the same clothes. They were the same exact clothes he wore.
They ain't got no Sean.
However,
But I got what you meant.
But you know, we had that conversation about women or people being less clothed. And what this particular brother said to me was, because that's erotic to us here, somebody walking around naked, when you grow up with everybody with no clothes
There's
on,
nothing.
seeing a woman without clothes on is not erotic.
It's not next.
It's not nakedness.
Yeah.
Just like if you go to the Middle East, there's a country in Africa, Mauritania,
Yeah.
where the women stay covered, and all the men can see are ankles.
Right.
So they look at ankles, and ankles
That's
turn them
attractive.
on.
Ankles is cleavage to them.
No,
Yeah.
right. Ankles might be like cleavage to us.
And that would be
But
similar
for
to me,
us,
like,
we see ankles and legs all the time, so we're kind of desensitized. You see them ankles?
You saw the ankles?
I can say something in the back of what he said. Like back in the Victorian days in England, when the women used to wear those big skirts,
Yeah.
just seeing some legs was a big turn on to men.
Yeah.
So men used to hump the table legs. That's why they got tablecloths to cover the legs like that.
So then you want to see the cum stains on
So
the
we used to hump the table legs then.
Why
God.
they have the table legs?
Because it was like the legs of a
It's
woman.
her
Like the woman was legs. Yeah.
And unfortunately, ladies, you know, I hear you saying, using a lot, are we objects? Are we just pieces of meat? So on and so forth.
I like
Unfortunately,
Sorry.
most men, yes. I mean, yes, when we see you in the street, we tend to objectify, not just women, we objectify a lot of stuff. That's how our brains, generally speaking, work. So whenever, I just had a conversation last night with a younger brother that I'm beginning to mentor, and explaining to him that most men don't approach a woman to be her friend. If you're out in a social environment, hanging out, it's not saying that men and women, I'm not saying that you can't be friends,
You ain't no
but if you're
friend.
out in the street and a man approaches a woman, it's not because he wants to be your friend. Not a heterosexual man.
Yeah, nah, it's because he liked how you looked.
He liked how
He
you
wanted
look.
to get a closer look.
And some people end up married happily ever after because of that visual, you know.
Right.
But I agree with you that they should be respectful. They shouldn't be, you know, because I have sisters, so I totally get what you're saying, you know.
And I always say, okay, look, if Michelle Obama walked in here, would you do that to her?
Yes.
No,
If my ass look like how the way it do on TV, I'ma look.
No, it does what I'm
too.
saying, but there's a level of respect that you give to.
If she has a nice booty, I'm looking at the booty.
You know
No,
what?
I'm not saying that you don't. We're not saying.
You're lying.
We know that men look. There's not. I can say
Maybe as a
look,
secret service.
women don't mind
No.
being admired. They don't mind when men admire them. I think it's just the level of respect in which you do it with.
I think you gotta also keep in mind, like, you know, you're very smart and intelligent and eccentric. A lot of women,
Eccentric. That's like
No,
Eccentric.
ethnic. You meant to say ethnic.
maybe ethnic.
Did you say?
No, I think
Did you
you
mean ethnic?
eccentric.
What's
No, I think
what's
he
wrong
meant
with
to say.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that. What's wrong with eccentric?
Brother,
know
Bob,
what?
what did you mean?
I'm sorry. No.
I don't want to forget my point though. My
Good
point.
point.
Okay, get to the point. We go back to the
Right?
subject.
We can go back to that. My point is that some women do wear that attire to get
Gain that attention.
Right.
And some guys can't tell the difference. How are they to know that unless you wear a sign on your back that says, you know, I'm just curvy and beautiful and I just want to look nice in my dress.
What?
Or
But why
I'm
would
a
you have to do
slur.
that?
Why would you have to wear a sign? If
I think.
like,
No,
I don't
I
have
mean
to wear a
realistically,
sign.
it's not fair aside. But what I'm saying is that some women put on that
Right.
just to show, look at my butt, and I want to get that.
Some get the
attention.
surgery. Some get the surgery.
Yeah,
Respect.
some women like that attention, and how can certain men know the difference?
Respect is
Most
subjective.
men only try. Listen, most men only try a line on a woman because it worked on another woman. That's the main reason why you try it. So if I've been dealing with a certain kind of woman consistently, that's not of your or level.
Exactly.
Right, and if I holler at them like, hey, shorty, come here, yo, your ass is nice.
Thank you.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I get. That's what I get every time.
Yeah.
So then when I get to you and I'm trying what was successful 9 times before, then you turn me down even by sheer numbers.
Which is good.
I'm gonna try it again because
Yeah,
it only
which is good because you're representing the good woman or the positive woman.
But
after
you
y'all done,
just
Keisha
said-
goes. I got you, Keisha.
Good. But I'm just saying, if you can't tell the difference, why not just respect all women in the beginning, and then once you talk to her, then you figure out what you can try. Why?
So that means
Respect is subjective.
there are chicken heads.
Yes, it is.
Keisha, go for. Hold on. Go ahead, Keisha. Go for what you got to say.
I live your world. I know I have curves.
Yes.
And every one of them got a story to tell.
I get the same calls.
Yeah.
I get the gestures. I guess for me, it's you show your level of intelligence on how you approach me.
Yes, very much so.
So when you do the grunting and the hey ma and the once you open your mouth,
Yeah.
I know whether or not you're worth turning my head and even looking. So I think for men who think that, you know, there are, you know, some girls that like that, it doesn't matter what the women like. It's what are you saying about yourself and the way you are approaching me. Because I think it should be you approach me, and then if you hear chicken head verbiage come out my mouth, then get into your stance for that. But if you hear intelligence coming out my mouth,
Be prepared for that.
be prepared for that. And then when I do speak, if you were expecting the chicken head verbiage, keep on walking and find one, because there's a lot of them clucking around.
Well, that's what it comes down to. Some men want that,
And search for it.
Yeah,
and
but
some,
if you
and
want
some
it, you
women
need to-
want that.
Just like you're
Some
hunting, you don't just
intelligent-
go around shooting aimlessly and getting deer, fawn, dove.
A lot of men do.
You
Depends on the
But a lot
person.
of women do that.
We're gonna take a quick break, a quick one. We're gonna stop.